Welcome back to Fights and Fragz. How are you guys doing? Myself, well, I've had an excellent week. Fantastic even. Was a fight this weekend. If you guys missed it, then that's on you. It was midday. Should have listened to the last podcast. I told you guys it was coming on early. It's that Saudi Arabia fight. Pretty sure they were in Saudi. Could be wrong. But it was on early. Very, 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 very early. But, hear me out. It was an okay fight card. You had the first fight of the night. Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. Well, Volkan KO's Johnny Walker first round. Poor Johnny. Can't get a W. Poor Johnny Walker, man. Then you got my boy Shaprudin Magomedov versus Antonio Trosley. Ends in the round 3 via KO. Very good fight. To be honest with you, it was a very interesting fight for the most part as I was watching it. Watching Shara, as I'm going to call him, strategically pick apart Antonio. I did not think it was going to end in a KO, and he just kind of seemed to gas the Antonio Triguglia guy out, and Shara just put the gas on him. Put the, never stopped putting pressure, I would say. Like, the pressure was there. He backed off when he needed to. But it was never a situation of, did Shara have the gas tank? It came down to the Antonio just did not have the gas tank, and Shara took him out to the water and then drowned him, Kevin Gastelum got a round 3 decision. Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. Alexander Volkov got the decision, round 3. Also, I seen a meme that was saying that Sergey used to be a destroyer and Alexander Volkov was like whatever, but in the corner, I guess they had a guy who was brushing Alexander Volkov's hair to the side, so that's whatever. And then you got the main event, not the one that we wanted to see, but it's still a pretty good fight nonetheless. You had Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Alaraskov. Ikram's only loss was to Kazmat. Well, Robert Whittaker hit him with the nastiest combo I've ever seen that had Ikram essentially out on his feet. But they gave him a fighting chance, and Robert Whittaker delivered this crazy uppercut that dropped him. A great fight card, in my opinion. For just a fight of the night, it's pretty good fights, man. I didn't get to watch every single one of them, but I did watch, of course, Shara, and I did watch Robert, and I did watch the first fight there that night. But even better news, this weekend coming up, the greatest, I'm just kidding, but it is a good fight card. It's just the cursed fight card, as I like to call it now. The cursed fight card that Conor was supposed to fight on that we do not get. We still get a pretty good fight card out of it. I mean, early prelims looking whatever. But those start at 5 p.m. Not too bad. The prelims looking pretty good. You got Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. Not bad. 8-0 versus 12-2. These fighters are crazy. Cub Swanson's on there. Joe Pfeiffer's on there. But your main card, what we've been waiting to see. Just kidding. What I've been waiting to see. Ian Machado Gary, 14-0 versus Michael Venom Page. And you can't see me, but I'm doing the snake hand like Michael Venom Page does. You got to when you say the name. Ian Gary, 14-0 versus Michael Page, 22-2. Michael Venom Page's, I think, second fight in the UFC. Can he put an L on Ian Gary's Stats, I'm excited to find out. I really don't expect this to go to a decision. Somebody's going to sleep or tapping out. Smart Money says to put it on Ian Gary, but I'm going to go Michael Page personally, money-wise. I don't know who the betting favorite is. I will definitely have to look that up and give you numbers sometime, but Michael Page is who I personally like, but Ian Gary's got all the talent in the world. Mara Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson, 10-3 versus 10-3. Not too bad, not too bad. Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. That's right. That's right. That is correct. Don't think it's crazy. Carlos Oberg had to pull out the cursed card. Told you guys. Anthony Smith fighting Roman Dolidze. Anthony Smith's 38-19. Roman Dolidze is 12-3. I'm hoping to see Anthony Smith drop this fool. But I don't know. You want a banger fight? Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. Brian Ortega 16-3 versus Diego Lopez, who is 24-6. This is going to be a banger of a fight. I am super hyped to see this. Look, man, I say it every time. I hope Diego Lopez gets beat and he gets that stupid haircut gone. But man, it's hard to really bet against Diego Lopez on that one. But Brian Ortega can get it done. My money's going on Brian Ortega. And then for the main event, for the title, you have the Potan Warrior himself, Mr. Alex Pereira, versus the Samurai Jiri Prochazka. Alex Pereira, professional career of 10-2. Dominating career. Israel Adesanya is his latest defeat. But remember, he smashed that guy a couple times already. Jiri Prochazka, this is like the second time these guys have fought. But look at Jiri Prochazka's record. 30-4. The man is a killer. He is a death row killer. Can he get it done this time? Has he fixed the mistakes? Or is Alex Pereira going to flatline him once again? My money's going on Alex Pereira. He's hard to bet against. And this is one of those ones, like, I don't want either guy to lose. Both guys are very good at their sport. I don't want either guy to lose, but I got to go Alex Pereira. He's the man. So, I'm going to be there watching the fight online with my Alex Pereira shirt on, cheering like a loser. But Alex Pereira is going to get it done. He's just going to, I think he's going to drop him again. He's just he's a very good tactician. He just seems to make reads incredibly quick. And when he hits hard. It's hard to defend. Nobody knows how to react once they take the punch. But that's this UFC event coming up, UFC 303. Who do you guys have for your fight picks? Once again, do you think Pereira can beat Jiri? Is Jiri going to get it done? And we'll get a Alex Pereira versus Jiri 3, which I like that even more. Hopefully. I don't know. What do you guys think? Well. It looks like things only get worse for Arman Tsarhkyan, the young up-and-coming UFC fighter. If you remember at UFC 300, when he was walking out, I suppose a fan got a little too aggressive with him. So in turn, he got aggressive back. Which, who would have thought as a professional sports star, professional fighter? I guess either of these actually in hindsight are pretty funny. But who would have thought that a professional fighter would punch a fan? And who would have thought that a fan would be aggressive with a professional fighter? and not expect to be punched. But it looks like Arman Tsarhkyan has in fact been suspended for 9 months and fined $25,000. Wow. For his fight, or for his punching of a fan during his walkout. I mean, I don't know where I stand on that. It's one of those where it's like, yeah, you can't put your hands on a fan, but at the same time, can the fans just assault fighters and not expect the fighters to respond? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I would just assume, personally, I would assume that the security would have done their job and maybe grabbed that fan and escorted him out, or whatever you want to call it. However, that is not what happened at all. Like I said, that gentleman aggressively slapped Arman. If I remember correctly, I'm not watching it. I'm just recalling from memory. Slapped him on the back, essentially. Aggressively. Popped him on the back, and, Arman just gave him what he needed. Little kapow, little punch in the mouth. Maybe it was a slap. I don't remember. I just think that it was fair. A 9-month suspension's insane. However, he could spend that time honing his skill. He is going to be without pay for 9 months. I did see, maybe it was on the news this morning. Not really sure. But I want to say it was on the news this morning. A gentleman who they said that he had, I guess, only has to serve 6 of those 9 months. I think it's 6. He just has to do a anti-bullying advertisement. Is that true? I don't know. Be interesting. See if UFC would promote the anti-bullying advertisement. Also, that's good publicity for the UFC as well, because this was at a UFC event, and I'm sure that the UFC probably may have paid a little money to make the situation go away. But I don't know. Possibly. Where do we go from here with Arman? Does he continue to just train for the 6 to 9 months? Absolutely. Does he come back even more aggressive and outrageously strong and overpowered? Absolutely. I'm excited to see the next Arman fight. It just might be 6 to 9 months. Did the fan get what he deserved? Did Arman Tsarhkyan get what he deserved? Because he gave a over-handsy fan a little bit of the medicine that he had gave Arman. What do you guys think? Let me know. We got some gaming news. Well, I don't know if you call it gaming, but it's in the gaming hemisphere. It is breaking across the internet the last few days. And I figured, why not cover it in the gaming portion of the podcast? Because we need some gaming content on here. I love fighting. It's my favorite sport. But I also used to love gaming, and who doesn't like a little bit of drama in the gaming scene? If you guys haven't heard, then you've been living under a rock, or maybe you just don't, aren't into the streaming hemisphere, but Dr. Disrespect is recently in the media of gaming. I'm just going to call it the media. Kind of viral, because if you remember back a few years ago, he got randomly banned from Twitch after making, he was getting ready to, I guess, get off stream, and he had some really weird things to say, and then once he got off stream, then it came out that he had been banned from Twitch, and nobody knew why, and we just went years and years without really hearing anything. Well, this is all allegedly, so I'm gonna say this allegedly, that I think it's 2 from the statement that Doc put out, but some Twitch employees came out, ex-Twitch employees, they had no longer worked at Twitch when they said this, allegedly, that the reason that Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch is because during, they have the whisper feature, I guess they somehow were tipped off to Doc talking to an underage to a minor. Obviously, if I say underage, minor, they're underage. So, but Dr. Disrespect was speaking to a minor, and this is the alleged part, and was planning on meeting with them at TwitchCon, and was speaking to them sexually, and that is why they banned him from Twitch. That is what the ex-Twitch employees have said, allegedly. At the time, I think Doc would have been, 35? So that's pretty disgusting, if true, that he was talking to a minor. He kind of said he was going to take a break from streaming due to all the drama. This is before he addressed the rumors. He made a tweet saying that he was going to, he had already had lawsuits settled from Twitch, that he wasn't going to speak on the situation due to the lawsuits and etc. And then a tweet came out, I guess this morning, between today and yesterday, a very long form tweet that I am not going to read out because it's an entirely too long tweet, but the basics of it, and I'm saying this, go read it yourself. Don't take what I say as 1000% fact, because I am just doing this off of memory. I'm not going to look at it, just low effort. But he says that, he's going to take a break from Twitch and pretty much gaming in general to, I guess, be with his family and recuperate from all of this, I guess emotionally. He's about how bad the internet is, it's a terrible place. And then he says that, yes, he was in whispers with a minor, and yes, the conversations of the whispers did get flirtatious. I don't remember if he said they got sexual, but he did say flirtatious. He said he had no intention of meeting with this minor. However, saying that he was getting flirtatious, intimate, I think was the word he may have said. I'm not sure. Go read the tweet. Even if it's been pulled down, I doubt it has. Go check it out. He has pretty much admitted that he was talking to this minor. And regardless of flirtatious, intimate, sexually, the use of any of those 3 terms is pretty disgusting for a 35-year-old to a minor. So, there's been, that's the drama. Dr. Disrespect has kind of came out and kind of, I would say, like, half-ass admitted to being what I would consider a groomer. And even if he didn't commit the act, it's still an act of grooming. Once again, not all the facts are out there because he's not being, rightfully so, I suppose, 1000% transparent. But I guess it would be pretty hard to be transparent and not look bad if, regardless, you were talking to a minor in ways that could be seen as sexual or flirtatious. But there you go. Dr. Disrespect just kind of came out and said it. I know Tim the Tatman and Nick Merckx have both spoke on it and how they're cutting ties, essentially. I'm pretty sure that Tim the Tatman used to work as like a family counselor. He did something with like children and stuff, so I'm sure that hits home really close to him, seeing as that's one of his Nick Merckx too, I suppose, but Tim the Tatman I know for sure is like one of close friends with Doc. So the disappointment that he must feel with that being one of his best friends, and he shouldn't feel guilty, but you know, the disappointment in one of his friends, it's one of those, it's kind of, it's kind of hard, I'm sure, to undertake. But I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that, other than that is the current drama. Once again, a lot of this is alleged, except for the things that Doc has said, like it was a minor that he was in the whispers with, which is still cryptic enough that it's kind of disgusting. It is disgusting. What do you guys think about the situation? At what point does a 35-year-old man talking to a minor in Twitch whispers, especially while being married to a woman, when does that not become grooming? Or when does it become grooming? I don't know. I do know immediately, but what do you guys think? Because that's something to think on. Hey, thanks for checking out this week's episode of Fights and Fragz, the podcast that covers MMA, just fighting in general that I find interesting, and just gaming news, info, and stuff. I just want to tell you guys that I appreciate every person who listens to the podcast. It means a lot. If you can do me one more huge favor, and that's give the podcast a share, that'd be cool. That'd be great. Be fantastic. Try to keep these short for a good 20-30 minute podcast. That's good for getting ready to go to work, going to work. Just a quick little informational weekly episode. We're going back to only weekly episodes, 1 episode a week. The 2 episodes a week is kind of stressful because there's not a lot of news sometimes. If we get a long news week, we'll get another episode in. But you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to put episodes up every week. Once again, thank you guys. Thank you for checking it out. I will see you guys next week after the UFC event. The Potan himself versus Jiri Prochazka. We're going to see what's going on, who's going to win. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Later.